Welcome back. You're watching Newsmaker Live on DBS. My guest tonight, the Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Mrs. J. Emmanuel. We're talking about politics and the media. Before our break, we were discussing your relationship with the media. We want to delve a little bit into the relationship between the politicians and the media. And we want to take a look at our first clip for tonight, which has to do with a statement that was made on Sunday at the St. Lucia Labour Party's rally in Vieux-Fort. Let's take a look and then we'll get your reaction.
Sure.
MP for Labrie, Alva Baptiste, says that when the United Workers' Party was in office, Labour Party members never disrupted any government function. Mr. Baptiste quotes current UWP chairman Ezekiel Joseph as having said that there would be elections soon, but notes that no one said anything. Now, according to the Labrie MP, the ruling Labour Party has become the target of what he described as persons who use the airwave to spread propaganda.
I heard nothing. I heard nothing from the poisoners of the well springs of public opinion. I heard nothing from the misinformation barons in this country. I heard nothing. Dr. Anthony, as Prime Minister, was called a thief, and every minister in his government was considered a bunch of thieves. I heard nobody make any noise about it.
The MP for Soufrière, who just recently traded blame for a confrontation with UWP leader Alan Chasney during the official opening of the Soufrière Bridge, also has some words for the media.
When all his pistons burn and break, he will be in political trash. And so I'm not worried about an Alan Chasney and what he says or does, or even the media, how they misrepresent issues.
Labrie MP Alva Baptiste, for his part, told Labour Party supporters that he has become a constant focus of attack as a result of exercising his democratic freedoms.
I have dedicated my life to politics. I am cooked and baked and well trained in guerrilla warfare. You hear? Yes, the boy pakafeme pay. And listen to who's on the media talking. Andre Paul and Charlie, who gossips every morning. We must look for a job for Charlie. Because you see, the devil always find work for idle hands.
Mr. Baptiste says he will not stop speaking up despite what he referred to as the vicious attack on him by the members of the media. For the DBS News World, Brian Calix reporting.
Mrs. Emmanuel, Jadia, when politicians of the ruling party openly name media personnel and chastise them from the platform for carrying out their duties, what goes through your head? How does that impact on your function as a press secretary? Does it make your job more difficult?
The member for Labrie, Honorable Alva Baptiste, was speaking from his own experience, and this is a man who has been in politics for quite some time. And so he has had his own experiences, and if he believes that his words are being misrepresented and that his actions are being misrepresented, then it is his right to speak out. The media is not above criticism, and in fact every day what the media does is to assess the work of a politician, to assess the work of the government, and not simply to present it, but they engage in criticisms as well. And so if the minister and the parliamentary representative for Labrie feels slighted and he believes that his actions and his words are being misrepresented, then it is well within his right to speak out and to see how he feels about it.
So you see nothing wrong in the statements that he made?
I don't want to go down the road of wrong and right, because what is wrong and what is right has a lot to do with perception. And so the minister didn't simply wake up and create a subject. He was responding. And we may have our issues with where, with how, and these things are always debatable. But the fact is, he was responding to what was being said on the media about him, what was being said on the media about his actions. And so he is actually saying to the media, or saying to individuals in the media, that they're misrepresenting his statements. And so the media, I maintain that the media is not above criticism. What I hear sometimes is that while members of the media engage in criticism. They name ministers all the time, even with things that have absolutely nothing to do with their work. They speak on the personalities. The media, they do that. And so I don't think that it has to be one-sided, that it is right for members of the media to name politicians, say things about them, speak about their character, speak about their personalities, and then that the media should remain untouched and everybody should be afraid to talk about the media. I don't think that this is how it should be.
Do you think the media generally is fair and unbiased in their reporting, or do you feel like politicians are being overly sensitive so that when a story is carried that doesn't particularly carry or expose a certain leaning, that they feel that the reporter or the media has an agenda, that they somehow are being politically victimized?
There are individuals in the media with their own agendas. I mean, some of them, they have been around long enough, and you don't even have to name them. Once you speak of the storyline, then everybody knows where it goes. I think the media, they have a lot of leeway. They control their talk shows. They say whatever they feel like, whenever they feel like. I don't think that the politicians are being overly sensitive. I believe that they are reacting to what is being said about them in the media. I don't think that, I mean, when I hear of situations like that, I don't think that it has any bearing on my work, because at the end of the day, your relationship with the media, your relationship with an individual in the media has a lot to do with your personal interaction with them. And the minister, when he was addressing that Labour Party conference on Sunday, he spoke directly of the incident. He spoke of what was being said and where. And so I don't think we should just generally say the media. There are serious issues. There are instances where it is simply because of their limitation, and so the St. Lucia Labour Party sends a press release, they reproduce the press release in its entirety without doing any kind of background. The UWP sends a press release, they just simply read it, but they go beyond that. They express opinions, they say things, they speak about personalities, they criticize, and some of the criticism has absolutely no basis. So I don't think that we should just simply say the politicians should leave the media alone, and then the media can go ahead with a free hand to say whatever they want whenever they feel like, because many of them believe that they can't be touched, and that if you are to take any action, if you are to speak out, that it is an attack, and everybody will see it as an attack on freedom and an attack on rights and so on. So this is just my view on it. Some persons may disagree, but I believe that if a parliamentary representative, any individual for that matter, believe that they've been misrepresented, it is their right to speak out.
Okay. We're talking about politics, one of the most recent developments in that arena was the election of Alan Shastney to the leadership of the United Workers' Party, the opposition.
Very topical issue, yes.
Yes, and his name has been on the lips of many in the St. Lucia Labour Party on the political platform. So has his father's, who has been drawn into the political fray. In fact, your boss, the Prime Minister, had this to say in relation to the father and son, which we'll look at our second clip tonight, and when we come back we'll get your reaction to those statements by Honorable Dr. Kenny Anthony.
Sure.
Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony took a swipe first at the son of businessman Michael Shastney, saying that Alan Shastney never for once denounced the way in which members of his party handled Sir John Compton. According to Dr. Anthony, Alan Shastney is now living on the legacy of the late Sir John. Sir John died while in office amid reports that a rebellion among cabinet members contributed to a stroke that he suffered in 2007. The leader of the ruling party also took businessman Michael Shastney, the father of Mr. Alan Shastney, to task.
If Michael Shastney knew what was good for him, by all means, is his son, support his son, get involved in politics. I don't have nothing in that if your son get involved in politics. Your son, but stay at a distance from him, take all us. Stay away from that. Be a smart father. You are the majority shareholder in a major company.
Dr. Anthony says that there is nothing to listen to from Michael Shasney. The leader of the ruling party stated that for 9 years he paid heed to Michael Shasney, but suggested that there were no major benefits from doing so.
There is nothing more to listen that Michael Shasney can say. Nothing more. His time is over. And when you decide that you're going to put your hat in the ring to play politics, then you have to expect that the Labour Party will handle you as a politician.
He then launched an attack on UWP member Guy Joseph, calling on Labour supporters to look out for a report by a forensic accountant with regards to the probe into missing funds.
That is the gentleman who did the report on the construction of the Piano Airport, and today there are people in jail in the United States. That is the report. That is it. Because the Alan Shasneys of the world, the Guy Josephs of the world, will have to explain what it is that they had in the Cayman Islands that they used to go up there so often.
Dr. Anthony has called on Alan Shasney not to start a political career by attempting to instill fear into the people of St. Lucia. Reporting for the DBS News World, I am Cecil Actil.
Now, the United Workers' Party, in response to those comments, has said that the statements by the Prime Minister are unfair, that he's unfair for criticizing Michael Shasney, for dragging him into the fray, that he has every right to support his son. Do you agree that he has that right?
The Prime Minister, in fact, said that he has a right to support his son. And if you listen to the clip again, you'll realize that Dr. Anthony said so. Dr. Anthony did not drag Michael Shasney into politics. He brought himself into it. He has been in the media making statements. He was at the rally with his yellow shirt making statements, behaving like a politician. You cannot be involved in politics and want to be treated otherwise. You'll be treated as a politician. Now,
but isn't that his right?
Yes, it is his right, and it is also...
In exercising that right, should he be criticized?
Nobody is above criticism, Kendall. Absolutely nobody is above criticism. It doesn't matter if you're rich, it doesn't matter if you're poor, it doesn't matter what you bring to the table. You are not above criticism. Michael Shasney criticizes Dr. Anthony all the time. He had an entire 90 minutes program speaking about the government and things the government did and things the government did not do, and Dr. Anthony doesn't listen to the business people. So why is it that it has to be one-sided? That he can criticize Dr. Anthony and Dr. Anthony cannot criticize him? Once you get involved in politics, you have to understand that you will be treated as a politician. If you're a pastor and you get involved in politics, you will be treated as a politician. If you're a businessman and you get involved in politics, you'll be treated as a businessman. And again, Dr. Anthony references experience. He said that he listened to Michael Shasney for 9 years. And so he is speaking from a basis of his own experience and his information. And so I would take it that he's speaking from a very informed ground. Now, persons will speak about, well, it is his father, naturally your family will support you. I have not seen Dr. Anthony's mother on any political platform. And so it means that she decides to keep her distance because she would not want to be drawn into the melee and drawn into the halikasi. But of course she supports and she loves her son. I don't see Dr. Anthony's children involved in politics, and clearly it is because they want to be kept away and they want to keep themselves at a distance. And so when you throw your hat in the ring and you participate and you walk around like a politician, then you have to understand that you will be treated just as any other politician.
Okay, we're due for another break. We'll take that break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with the Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Mrs. J.D. Emmanuel. We'll continue our discussion about Michael Shasney and his involvement in politics.
Sure.
We'll be right back.